it's just the golden nuggets of what you guys are going to learn from him. And everybody has a different path, right? And how long did it take you to get your first closing?
7 months. So I started July, but I was like in the Zoom meetings when I was still a teacher. And then, it was really hard because interest rates at the time were really high. And I knew at the time I would ask Jeremy, hey, can I like air hustle you, listen to him, negotiate on the phone, kind of pick his brain. And then, it was just really dried. And I think really shout out to my wife because, I feel like if you don't have enough runway or if you don't have like I was still coaching fall water polo at the time too. So I still had some income. I was tutoring. So I knew that transition, I'm like, hey, I'm going to do that full time. But at the same time, I still needed something to back me up just in case if things don't work out. But I never thought about what if things didn't work out. I was like, hey, it's going to work out eventually. And it definitely tested my patience and tested my character, my resilience. And the first one, from July, and then first closing was in February.
So from February, how many have you closed since February to now?
To now 9 deals. So
I would say, what is that? February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October. 8 months. So 9 deals in your first 8 months. We'll say that.
Congratulations. All right. Woo! Oh man, dang. All right, y'all. Just want to first off and say thank you so much for being here today. I know I had some people come in. I'm like, wow, I wasn't even expecting you to come, but you showed up. So I know of all places you could have been cold calling right now, going out showing homes, but you chose to be here, and it really means a lot. So I don't take this for granted. I hope that out of today's class, you would take 1 or 2 key things that can really help apply to your real estate career and also in your life too, because I really try to make things a little bit more practical. I feel like when I was teaching in the classroom, a lot of my students come in with that mindset, hey, mister, I hate math. What are you gonna do to help me out? And there's a lot of that energy coming in, but I think at the end of the day, my goal is to make sure that hopefully I can change that narrative for you and that you're able to kind of walk out with a new set of lens and make it happen for yourself, okay? All right, so before we get started, I heard this from Coach Pipes. I want you guys to stand up. I want you guys to give 5 people a high five, and let's get the energy rolling up in here, okay? Here we go. There we go, there we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ryan. Hey, let's go. All right, y'all. We're gonna get started with class today, so if I talk too much, I apologize in advance. My goal is to make less words on the slides and more like, okay, here's some practical tips that we can, if you want to take notes on your phone. There are Post-its under your seats too, so feel free to, if you have any questions, we're actually going to use the Post-its later too, so just something to keep in mind, okay? All right, so I know, thank you so much, Bill, again, for sharing about, just, again, how I started on this team. Definitely, it was really crazy because, long story short, this happened when Jeremy, he was doing a Zoom buyer's consultation with me and my wife, and at the time, it was like COVID, and I was teaching from home, and I'm like, all right, what the heck do I do with my life? And as he was going over the consultation with me, we were not really like super serious or curious, but at the time, I really felt like, hey, you know what? Like, I have all this time, why don't I just start fantasizing the idea, the what if, right? What if real estate was a possibility? And after that consultation, I think, Jeremy, I probably reached out to you like a few months later until I knew for sure this is what I wanted to do. But I'm going to share with you guys later on the next few slides as far as like, why I left teaching in real estate, and then for real estate, what teaching has helped me as far as like the skills that I was able to carry over. And then I think, I can tell you guys, hey, how to get your offer accepted, all this and that. But I think the goal really out of this class today is really how to overcome adversity. I feel like when you're a new agent and you didn't get your first deal until 7 months later, there's a lot of challenges that I encountered. And I want to make sure that whatever I went through, that you don't have to go through that, or you're not alone, right? So all this right here, this is nothing to me. I don't care about, being a top producer or a mentor. What I really care is about serving people. I remind myself I'm not in this business to like sell things. I'm here to serve. And I think when I serve people, I realize at the end of the day, the ripple effect will start to take place. And people will know if you are selling something, or people will know if you are serving them too. And I think it's always in my best interest to look out for the people that I'm around. And energy to me is really contagious. And I want to make sure that the clients that I'm around too, hey, they're excited about their home buying process, because home buying is like freaking like stressful, right? And we want to make sure that we do whatever we can to make it very like simplified and fun and exciting, and that you know, from the beginning to the end, and even after we close escrow with them, that we still stay in touch, because who knows, you might end up getting a referral out of that. And you know, I feel like I've seen people do home anniversary gifts and stuff like that. So you really want to make sure that you make these relationships become like a lifelong relationship with your clients too. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and share with you guys my journey as far as why I left teaching and going into real estate. So I felt really stagnant. I felt like teaching for 8 years, it was really lonely, okay? You're the only authoritative figure in the classroom, and sure, I love my students, like don't get me wrong, but I would never go to the teacher's lounge just because there's a lot of toxic energy. They would always talk about, hey, you have this kid in your class, you know, you should watch it for this and that, and it really like F's with your mind, and you have that negative perception of them. And so all I spend my time during lunchtime is I open my classroom for my kids to come in. If it's raining outside, hey, get your homework in, bring your lunch into class, and let's just hang out. And the reason why I stayed within teaching for 8 years is because I felt like my students were the only thing I had to cling on. I had nothing else, no other support from top down. The pay is not sexy, as you guys know, with teaching. And I think with that, you really have to find, like, dig down and figure out what your why was. And I thought being a teacher was something that I was gonna do for the rest of my life. And it got to the point where you get burned out, you do things over and over. I would tell my wife, hey, let's go on a trip, you know, and after we come on a trip, I'm like, oh man, I gotta go back, I got a lesson plan, I got a grade, I do things that I don't wanna do, and there are times when I would wake up like, man, do I even wanna show up to school today, but I still have to show up, right? And so a lot of those, like, you're just constantly fighting against your inner battle. And even with real estate, it still happens to this day. Raise your hand if you guys ever felt like, you know, it's hard to wake up today because maybe you haven't gotten your first offer accepted, or maybe you're in escrow, but like your client is screwing things up, or maybe they're not getting their finances right. Raise your hand if you guys have ever gone through something like that before. Yeah, we should all be raising our hands, right? And so I definitely wanted to, you know, figure out like, hey, you know what, my environment needed to change. I needed to step outside of the box. And when I had that Zoom BC with Jeremy, I felt that, you know what, I think something is out there. I was telling my kids, hey, you know, you guys if you don't feel like college is the right path for you, and you know exactly what your gift is and your purpose is, go ahead and pursue that. Go to trade school. Do something that you really enjoy, but keep doing it. Like, it's gonna be hard. There's gonna be some times where you may not feel motivated, but you have to be disciplined. You just have to show up, right? And for me, it was just really hard to show up with teaching. But I felt like with real estate, maybe that can kind of like change my outlook in terms of life. And so one thing I love about this team is that, you know, we have this team culture. I love the energy. I love the people on this team. You guys already know I'm a huge person in terms of hugging people. It's because I care about people a lot. And not that I expect that in return, but because I know that we're all going through something, right? There are times when I'll be like super excited, but I know internally there's some like shit in the back that I don't like to share, is because I don't want people to feel sorry for me. And not only that, it's because I know that there's other people out there that are going through something worse. And so with this team, that I'm always here. I have to be here because if I'm at home, I know nobody's keeping me accountable. And so I'll tell you this, like in the first few months, we never had any mastermind classes. I think the first one was like with Renji, right? And that didn't happen until like in the new year. And so there was a period of time where like I was telling Jeremy, I think you had $1 million lunch, or like it was at your baseball game, right? I think Bill was taking out the top producers, and you know, I felt like I was kind of getting back into my like lonely island again in that teacher mode, because I was the only one here at the office. I didn't have Colleen, you know, nobody was here. I'm like, where the hell is everybody doing, you know? And we also had our Walnut Creek office, so I know some people would show up over there. And I was like, man, what's going on, you guys? I thought we were supposed to like, you know, do more things in the office, right? And there was a point, I never told Bill and Daisy this, but you know, I did consider, hey, you know what, should I like switch out of the Davis team and go somewhere else? You know, like maybe Team Fast. It looks like they were killing it, you know, with their podcasts and their videos. Everybody's doing things in pairs. I had nobody. I mean, I had Jeremy, but like, you know, he was at the mentor, you know, or the you know, the $1 million thingy, and I was like, dude, I'm like out here by myself. I'm like, what the hell should I be doing, you know? And at that point, it got really like all these negative thoughts started running through my mind, and I was like, shit, like, am I gonna quit and then move on to the next thing? And one thing that really stuck with me with that call was Jeremy was like, hey, the grass is not greener on the other side. I was like, what do you mean by that, right? It's like, hey, if you go to another team, it's going to be the same thing, right? It's really what you make out of it. And I think from there, that was a huge turning point for me because I was actually waiting for things to happen. I was waiting for Bill and Daisy to kind of get me hyped up, be here at the office. Hey, Erik, make your 10 cold calls a day or whatever.
That's happening now, moving forward.
Yeah, that's happening now, right? But back then, there was like less of that, and I guess it was like me trying to self-motivate myself and get my motor running. But it's really hard, right? When you're in here by yourself trying to figure things out, especially when you're new. And so if you're feeling like that and you feel like you don't get that support, I really challenge you to meet with people. The first person that I hit up was Daniel. I knew Daniel lived here in Hercules. I watched some of his videos on Instagram. I'm like, hey, Daniel. I wanted to get to know his, what ticked him, and to be able to invite him to the office. We sat down, had a great conversation with him. Really inspired me a lot because he's such, he carries himself in a way where I can see that he can build that trust with his clients so well, and that I kind of admire that about him. And it really made me going, okay, you know what? I got somebody that I can actually embody or model after. And so after meeting with Daniel, I would hit up Hannah over the phone. I would hit up Ranjit, just everybody that's killing on the team, because I think what really propelled to get me to where I am today was just really actually starting to take action, which I'm going to really cover a little bit more later. And so I know I'm jumping a little bit too far ahead, but I want to show you really the team environment, you guys. This is the reason why I'm still here on the Dave's team. I do believe that eventually there is going to come to a point where, I would love to start my own team, right? And it's because I want to give back, not because I want to continue to follow. But because Bill is trying to make us become leaders of ourselves too. And I don't see Bill as my boss. I am my own boss, right? He's our team leader, he's our own example, and we have the ability to create our schedule, make things happen, and not wait for things to come to us. Obviously, the pay with teaching was not sexy. This is beautiful, you guys. When I first got my first deal, it was a Benicia list, or a Benicia 1.2, and I'm like, wow, this is crazy. I've never had that much in my account at one time, my first paycheck. But I didn't want to get too high on the highs. I knew that this was only going to last for a little bit, right? And I think for me, my biggest why is really going back, is it my students? Is it my clients? And I'm going to go ahead and dig deep a little bit for you guys, okay? All right. Okay, so some skills that really helped me from teaching over to real estate was communication. Obviously, as a math teacher, you're always finding different ways to make math a little bit more easier for the kids to understand, right? And then same thing with real estate, right? The home buying process can be pretty complicated if you don't break down the steps from the pre-approval all the way to closing. And so I feel like the skills that I've learned from teaching has really helped me deliver it in a way where my clients can fully understand. And if you are struggling with that, hey, don't worry, I'm here for you. I want to make sure that just make it the way you want it to sound, because I feel like if we try to copy exactly how somebody is doing it, it's not going to sound natural the way you want it to be. Patience, I think this is definitely key too. I feel like a lot of my clients, sometimes their timeline is going to be a little bit different, right? Some might be ready to purchase their home right then and there. Some maybe 6 months out or a year out. And that's something that I've started to realize that, it's not about me. It's not about my timing. It's about them. And I'm going to do whatever I can to make sure that I nurture the heck. And nurturing is always a work in progress for me. When you have so many people in your pipeline, it's so hard to take care of everybody. Sometimes you just want to take care of those that are a little bit more at the top of your list, but also don't forget about those that are kind of they still need you to keep in touch. And it reminds me a lot about the students that, are not as motivated because they grew up in an environment where their parents, are working 24 hours, they're not at home, they're not spending quality time, and they just don't have motivation for school anymore. And I can't forget about them, I can't leave them behind, because I know that maybe if I give them a chance to do something great, they can actually make something out of themselves too. Building relationships, that's huge. You want to build trust with your clients. Problem solving, that comes a long way when it comes to negotiating. And then time management, definitely that's always a work in progress. But I think it's very important to be able to make sure that you guys balance with your work, your family, your hobbies. Hopefully you guys have something outside of real estate that you enjoy doing, whether it's knitting, dancing, going to the gym. Make time for yourself. I think that's really important because it's easy to get so caught up with trying to serve, but you need to also serve yourself as well. Okay. All right, so the objective in class, I always like to go over the objective with my students. I'm going to let's go with Sharon. Can I have you read the objective for today, please? Yeah, can I have you read out the objective for today?
Okay. By the end of today's class, I will be able to learn how to think positive and overcome adversity, both in real estate and in life.
Perfect. So hopefully you guys are able to have some key takeaways that will not only propel your real estate career, but also apply to your own life too, because I think there's a huge parallel between what we do now and also what we can do at home. Okay, so there's 4 things that I want to cover with you guys. The first one is to believe in yourself, right? Believe you can, and you're halfway there. You're going to see a lot of quotes with the next few slides, just because I'm a quote geek. I love geeking out on the quotes. I feel like they definitely do. When I put it out on the slides for my students, it's easy for them to relate because it's something that they can definitely take back and actually like apply to their own lives too. And so I want to throw out a question to you guys. Why do you think people have a hard time believing in themselves? So I want you to take about 30 seconds to think about it, and then I'm going to ask for some volunteers. So we're going to make this class a little bit interactive. That way we can throw out a few things, because I know that whatever it is that you guys end up sharing, it's going to be the same thing for somebody else that might be going through it right now. So again, the question is, why do you think people have a hard time believing in themselves? Yeah, Steven. Doubt, self-doubt, yeah. Huh? Scared of failure, yep. Past experiences, can you elaborate more on that? What do you mean?
Or, going through a hard time and it wears you down and you feel like you can't do it anymore.
Yeah, for sure. Like a past, kind of like a negative experience, right? Yep, Sharon?
Let's say your childhood experience of how you believed yourself to be as a child.
Yeah.
And you carry that into your adulthood.
Almost definitely, like kind of like an upbringing thing where it started from very back then, and next, it's like you didn't realize maybe it's triggering you, or it's still part of you to this day. Yeah.
Product of your environment.
Yeah, product of your environment, okay. Anybody else? Yeah, no, a lot of you guys brought up amazing points. I think that's huge, because I sometimes ask myself, like, why do I have a hard time sometimes believing in myself, right? And my upbringing wasn't the best. I have both of my parents divorced. I'm the oldest of 2 brothers, and I had a lot of doubt in my ability, because there's a lot of pressure. A lot of family were like, hey, you can't make it with just your mom. You're not gonna graduate. You're not gonna go to the school that you want. And a lot of them, it starts to internalize, right? And I think with that, you kind of need to figure out how to block the shit out of everything. I'm sorry, excuse my language, but literally, you just need to block the shit out of everything, because everybody's gonna tell you can't do it. But if you tell yourself you can't do it, you're just on the same team with them. So you gotta really rewire the way you think and say, hey, you know what, I got this. I'm gonna not prove to them, but I'm gonna prove to myself that I can do it, right? And so this part right here, I think in real estate, we really need to first have faith in ourselves. I can't tell you, hey, Sharon, I have faith in you, but if she doesn't have faith in herself, it's kind of pointless, right? And so it's very important that in all that we do, if you ever kind of get to a point where you start to have some self-doubt, like really take a step back and evaluate, where is this coming from, right? Is this stemming from like past experiences? Is it stemming from something that, that maybe you don't even know, but you just want to be around people that are very positive and they're going to get you going. Because really at the end of the day, you are the 5 people you hang out with. And if you hang out with people that are very negative or talk things that are pessimistic, you're just going to start to, think the same way that they are. So I really encourage you guys, if you're having a hard time struggling with believing in yourself, like I can tell you, I believe in every single one of you. I think you guys are all wonderfully gifted. You guys are all created unique. I don't want you to be like me. I know each is like, hey, Eric, I want to follow your path. No, don't follow my path. I want you to create your own path, because you are going to be the next you. I honestly, when I saw Jeremy, killing things on this team, I knew that if Jeremy can do it, why can't I? Right? I'm not going to follow exactly what he's doing, because I know that if I'm doing the exact same thing, I'm just basically a duplicate of Jeremy. But I know myself. I know what my gifts are. I know what my strengths are. The things that I'm going to are weak at, I'm going to really lean onto him and ask him for help. And I think we need to lean onto each other in times when all these negative voices come in, and we want to make sure that we have faith in each other, in ourselves most importantly. All right, so I talk about this in my classroom a lot with my students, where if they see something, they start to believe it, right? And I kind of think the opposite is just as true too. If you start believing in yourself, you believe in each other, you're going to see results. It's because that's what faith is, right? It's believing in the unseen. It's going to happen. It's going to come. But you really also, not only should you believe it, you got to make sure that that faith or that belief is active, right? You can't just say, hey, I believe myself, but I'm not putting that belief to work. And so I'm going to show you guys later on the next slides what that's going to look like, and hopefully you can take a few points from that. Really hone down in terms of your why. What's your purpose? Why are you here today? Why are you doing real estate? Are you doing it for the money, right? Are you doing it because you really want to help people? Are you doing it because you feel like you're called for a greater purpose? And maybe you haven't bought a home yet, like me. I'm still renting right now. I haven't bought a home yet, but when I help people buy their first home, I feel like I'm living vicariously through their experiences, and it's getting me super excited, super stoked for what's to come, because when my time comes, I know exactly how I'm gonna be able to do it for my family too. So really think about your why. I know everybody's why in here is different, but if you guys really remind yourself every morning when you wake up, that why is really gonna take you to where you are to this point, okay? All right, so some practical tips. When it comes to self-belief, I think it starts with your day. How you start your morning really dictates the rest of your day. How you start your Mondays dictates the rest of your week, months, and then the rest of the year. We're already in Q4. Raise your hand if you guys feel like the year is going by pretty fast this year. Oh yeah, definitely. Like when we came back from the Coach Pipes conference, I'm like, man, it's already October. We got Halloween coming up. We got Thanksgiving. We got Christmas, right? And we already know during the winter times, things can move a little bit slower. But I do believe that we can still change that narrative, right? We can still make things happen for ourselves, because when things get slower, we're ready to, Bill likes to call it the separation season, right? So we're gonna do whatever we can to separate ourselves from other complacent realtors. But this right here, I think is really crucial, okay? Start your day with prayer, meditation, affirmations, yoga, whatever it is that really floats your boat. For me, every time I wake up in the morning, I just like get down on my knees, on my bed. Thank you, God, for today. Thank you, God, for my breath. Thank you, God, for all that you've given me. You know, whoever it is that I encountered today, may I just be a blessing and a light to them. And the more I say it to myself, the more I know that I'm going to live it out in faith, right? Sometimes it's hard. Sometimes I'll skip my prayer and I just go right into work. Raise your hand if you guys ever done that, right? You just get right into your computer because you know that the offers are due like in an hour or two, right? And then you're like trying to scramble everything, right? And that's totally like okay too. You shouldn't be disappointed, but at the same time, I think it's important to recenter your focus, figure out like what really is important to you and how you feed your body and your mind, because how you feed your mind and your body, right, it's gonna affect the people around you, it's gonna affect the rest of your day, and this right here, it's huge. I'm starting to, be a little bit more disciplined in terms of, making sure that I have my workout in, my exercise. I feel like if I'm not doing that, it kind of screws up my day. I love this, listening to motivational podcasts, right? Bill always posts different podcasts in our team Slack. Pick out one or two people that you want to listen to and see, who speaks to you. Because I feel like Bill might say something to me, it might not like come through, it might go in one ear out the other ear. But if I listen to Ed Milet or Tom Ferry, I'm like, dang, like this is like preach, Because sometimes Bill might say it in a way I'm like, I don't really get it yet, right? But somebody else might say it in a different way where it actually does tick. And I think that that's gonna work for everybody, right? So if you guys are listening to podcasts or if you have that music playlist that gets you going, like figure out who that person that you really want to lean into and make that become part of your routine. I think it's gonna go a long way for you. Yeah. Okay. And then our last part is to reframe your thinking. I'm gonna show you guys in the next two slides certain ways to really rewire your software, because I think there's certain things that are default that we're so used to thinking, but if you change the way you think in your lens, it's gonna change the whole game in terms of how you look at not just real estate, but also the way you carry yourself in life. And so I'm really excited to share with you guys that part. So that was the very first part of how to really stay positive and overcome adversity. So what I want you guys to do right now is underneath your chair or on your table, there's a Post-it note. I want you guys to write 3 affirmations on your Post-it note for me, okay? If you need Post-it notes, I think Bill is gonna, there's more right here too. Yeah. 3 affirmations, okay? So the 3 that I have up on the board, I am worthy, I am loved, I am enough. Again, I am worthy, I am loved, I am enough. You do not need to write the same 3. I want you to come up with your own 3. If you want to take one, that's fine. Whatever it is that speaks to your heart, okay, you don't need to look at your neighbors. I just want you to focus on you. You need to close your eyes a little bit, think about, your affirmations, go ahead and do that. And once you're done writing those 3 affirmations, do me a favor, go and look up to the front. That way you know you're done, okay? So 3 affirmations. Okay, I see Hector, you got one down. Sharon has one down already. Cool. Oh, Jaden, you need one? I got you. What up? A pen? Oh, you need a napkin. Okay. Why? Oh, because I'm sweating? Oh my gosh, you guys are bringing... Thanks, Jaden. I didn't realize I was sweating too. You guys are bringing the heat today. Jeez. I thought the last heat wave was like 2 days ago. Okay. I thought you needed a sneeze or something, brother. Man. I love you, Jaden. Thanks for looking at my face. Okay. Yeah. All right. Again, once you have those 3 affirmations, just look up to the front. That way I know you guys have it. Okay. Let's give you guys maybe another 30 seconds. Hannah, you're all done? All right. I know Hannah's ready because she's looking at me. Oh, ooh. Okay. You just gave me an idea. I'm gonna remember that. Okay. So raise your hand if you guys need more time. Anybody else need more time? Okay. Do me a favor. With the person next to you, go and share those 3 affirmations with them. What'd you put? Okay. Let's give you guys a minute to do that. All right, Jen. What you got? I'll be your partner. Okay. Oh, all right. Finish your last one, and then I'll come back to you.
I feel like that's an affirmation.
I love it. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Daisy, what you got?
Yes.
What you got? Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. What you guys do? I'm happy. I'm positive. I'm calm. Myself. I'm independent. Yeah. There you go. There you go, Hannah. See, Colleen, what you got?
I copied 2 of yours, but I like.
Ooh, I love it. I love it. All right, Jen, you got your 3rd one? All right, let me see. My clients feel thankful, peace, trust, the goals I love, love and confidence. I love it. Yeah, no, that's great. I think being specific is good too. I feel like I could say like enough. What does that mean? What does that look like? All right, if you guys hear my voice, clap once. If you guys hear my voice, clap twice. If you guys hear my voice, clap 3 times. I haven't done that in a while. That's crazy. What? All right. I'm going to have Bill start us off. Bill, can I have you stand up? Can I have you read your 3 affirmations nice and loud? Let's do it.
I am a winner. I am loved. I am blessed.
All right, let's clap up for Bill, you guys. Woo! All right, I want to hear from Drew. Drew in the back. Coach Drew. Coach Drew. Let's go, Coach. Woo! What you got, Drew? There we go. Let's clap it up for Drew, you guys. All right. Liliana, you ready? All right, let's have you stand up. Share out your 3 affirmations. Let's go. Let's clap for Liliana. All right. Let me get my mentee, Jaden, stand up. What you got?
I'm appreciated, I'm supported, and then I'm healthy.
All right. Clap it for Jaden, you guys. Okay, what I want you guys to do now with that Post-it note, I know I wasn't able to call everybody, that's okay, but I want you to go ahead and put your name underneath it, and then go ahead and post it up on the wall right here, okay, once you're done. Put your autograph, and then let's put it on the wall. That way later, during break time, you guys can go ahead and go up to the affirmation wall, and then you guys can take a look what everybody put. Yeah, and if you don't want to put your name, you want to keep it anonymous, totally okay. Cool. This worked out a lot better than I expected. Yeah.
He really did.
Man, I stayed up to 3. I stayed up to 3 a.m. because Janine gave me these slides late, and I was like, all right, I gotta add some stuff. I forgot. Okay. Woo! Man, a lot of you guys have really nice handwriting, by the way. Wow, I can read all of them. All right. Thanks, you guys. Love it. We got our affirmation wall. Maybe we should just keep it up here. I don't know if we ever want to take it down. What do you guys think? Okay. Thank you, guys. Appreciate you guys being interactive, engaging. It makes things a lot easier. Okay. We're going to go ahead and move on to the second part. So, anybody here follow Visual Hustles on Instagram? Yeah? If you haven't, I highly encourage you guys to follow it. Raise your hand if you guys are a visual learner, because I am a visual learner. I know I have a lot of words on here, but I think having pictures sometimes does help a lot. And so, based on looking at the picture, can somebody, if you were to put this on your Instagram post and you were to give it a caption, what would you give it? Can somebody tell me what caption would this look like? Or what would it say on your Instagram?
Action is heavier than words.
Yeah, action. Yeah, action is heavier than words, right? So you can believe in yourself, you can have faith in yourself, you can just feel good, right? When sometimes you guys watch some inspiring video and motivational podcast you're listening, you feel really hyped up about it, but now you got to really convert it into action, right? And so the second part to really building that resilience in real estate is to actually start doing. I think you're not going to learn until you do. And one of my favorite quotes is, I would rather live a life of oh wells than what if. Because at least oh wells I tried, right? What ifs, I'm still thinking about it, and it's never been done yet. And so there was another quote that I was debating on putting up here. It was, if you want something that you've never done before, you're going to have to do something that if you want something that, man, I don't know if I'm saying it right. You guys know what I'm talking about? If you want something that you've never done before, you got to do something that you've never done before, or something like that, right? Along those lines, right? You guys get the point. And I think it's going to really require us to really step out of our comfort zone, right? And really challenge us, because if you guys are around people that are very complacent, you're just going to be very complacent and comfortable, okay? And so I want you to start thinking about, why do you think people are afraid of taking action? Let's say they do have that self-belief now. Why is it that they're having a hard time taking that first step, okay? So I want you guys to think about that, and then I'm going to ask 5 volunteers to share out why you think people are having a hard time taking action, or why are they afraid of taking action? Yeah, Isha, what do you have? Fear of failure. Raise your hand if you guys are scared of failing. I'm still scared of failing, right? What else? Insecurity. Raise your hand if you guys feel insecure sometimes. Me too. Yeah, Hector? Being comfortable? Okay, so complacent, yeah. Raise your hand if you guys have been complacent before. You're like, I'm good, I don't need any more deals because I feel like I've reached my goal, right? Sharon?
Analysis paralysis.
Yeah, can you explain that to those who don't know what that means? What does that look like?
Sometimes you can get so caught up in your head, trying to fit all the pieces.
Yeah.
And you feel like you have to have everything in place in order to move forward. And if you don't have, all of that, it kind of goes back to what you said.
Yeah.
Going off of faith.
Right.
Is sometimes you just have to trust your instincts of just doing the action.
For sure.
And doing it.
Yeah, most definitely. So it kind of reminds overthinking, right? You're overthinking it too much that you never even started because you're just so focused on the task, that large list of to-dos, right? Raise your hand if you guys are overthinkers. Anybody here? I overthink sometimes, right? And it kind of does prevent me from moving forward. Yeah. No, thank you so much for sharing, you guys. I think those are really great reasons as to why we don't want to take action. Yeah, Daisy, did you want to add something? No? Jaden, did you want to add something? What? Yeah. No. I saw Daisy volunteering you, so I was like, yo, what's up? Yeah. The overthinking. Yeah. Jaden, don't overthink, buddy. Okay. I know. There's a reason why. Yeah. Okay. Let me just reveal all this so that I don't forget. Okay. So without action, there are no results, right? If you don't take action at all, you're just really at a standstill. I encourage you to make mistakes. Make as many mistakes as you can. I feel like Bill and Daisy have created a place where, there's it's a safe place. There's no judgment. We're here for each other, whether it's on role play, objections on Thursdays, right? Don't be afraid to share it, because when you share your mistakes, right, at least you know that somebody else is not alone, because we're all going through the same thing. And I think something that resonates with me, sometimes Bill would say, hey, whatever it is that you're going through, somebody else has probably gone through that already. Right? So you really want to lean into each other. And I think those that have been doing it before me, for sure, I'm going to ask them, hey, I think I'm going through this situation. What's your take on that? How would you respond to that, right? And so really don't be afraid to make mistakes, because that's how you're going to learn. Those are your lessons. You're only going to fall forward. We talked about overthinking, right, Sharon? Like I think when we have that overanalysis paralysis, that does kind of paralyze our body to even want to move because we're just so fixated on our large list of to-dos that we never get anything done. And then my favorite, YOLO. You guys, we only live once. Tomorrow is never guaranteed. Tomorrow is never promised. And like I said, when you wake up in the morning, right, thank for life today. Anything can happen tomorrow, right? And sometimes it might not be out of our own control. I really think about my family a lot too. I'm very grateful that both of my set of grandparents on both mom and dad's side, they're still alive. And so as I'm doing real estate and it's taking me time away from my family, when I get the chance to, I'll try to make the drive down to San Jose, spend as much time as I can with them because I know that internally their clock is running out, right? And we don't know when that time is, but when it does, it's gonna be really sad, right? So I really try to not focus so much on that. I really focus on, when we are together, let's make the most out of our time together because we don't know, we're not gonna get that time again. We're always moving forward. And I hope that you guys know that, we're moving forward together. We're not doing it alone. We have each other. We got each other's back. We love each other. We're gonna do it, okay? Some practical steps, right? Now that we're implementing the whole 10 cold calls a day, right? Just do it, right? I know sometimes picking up the phone, like for me, again, I always share, I'm not a huge fan of lofty, but we just have to, it's not about whether you like it or not, it's the doing that really matters. And the more you do it, the more you end up, maybe you like it because you found success in it. And I think success really comes from a lot from failing over and over and over, right? I feel like if you guys know a lot of the greats in sports, right? They fail so many times. You miss 100% of the shots that you don't take, right? Things like that. And it really can apply with real estate too. And so we just got to stay disciplined. You shouldn't wait to be motivated, be inspired to finally do something. It's just a matter of showing up every day for yourself because you have family who depend on you, who love you, and you want to buy that time back so that you can spend more quality time with them, right? Post an IG reel of yourself, right? Sharing value. I know some of us are still afraid to put ourselves out there, right? You don't want to be a secret agent. We hear that all the time. I'm not huge on social media before, but until I started seeing people do it, I'm like, you know what? Let me go ahead and just try it. Right? And then you eventually start to find your voice because you might be thinking about, hey, my friends might see me as a different person. You're really not, if anything, just be you, be authentically you. That's the reason why I reached out to Daniel is because when I saw him post videos on Instagram, I'm like, wow, this guy, like he says it in a way where even though I don't know his full story, but I felt like I can already connect with him through his Instagram. Raise your hand if you guys ever felt like you connected with somebody that maybe they're a stranger, but you felt like they were sharing so much value and you just felt like, man, this is somebody I want to follow because I'm inspired by them. Anybody here? Yeah, all of us, right? And so you can do the same too, right? And it's going to take some time to find that voice, but I would recommend, hitting up Hannah, right? Hitting up people that are really have that strong social media presence. That way, you can actually make it become your own voice and then do it the way you want it to do it. It's going to take time. I know there's so many different ways we can kind of jump into social media, but it's possible. So I encourage you guys to put yourself out there. One of my first 2 deals actually came because of social media, and that's because I put myself out there, and they're my SOIs, right? If I didn't post myself out there, I would have never gotten in touch with my college friend that that would reach out. Hey, Erik, I didn't know you're doing real estate. Hey, I'm thinking about, I'm living in Fairfield. I'm thinking about buying a home in Benicia. Can we connect? And the second one is a friend from LA, right? And Daisy knows that was actually my very first offer accepted, but we backed out because they were looking at duplex, tenants in place. I learned so much out of that escrow. Isha, you were there during that time when we were doing our monthly mayhems, and I'm like, what the heck am I doing? What questions do I ask? But along the way, you start to realize, wow, there's so much power in social media, right? Just reminding people of what you do every day is a huge thing. And hopefully, after today, you guys can post something that not about me, but really about you. What did you learn from this class? What are you going to do about it, right? And hopefully you can inspire somebody in your sphere or in your following, okay? Host an open house this weekend. This is like my bread and butter, right? So if you haven't done an open house yet, I definitely encourage you to, put yourself out there. You can make calls in the box, in the cubicle, but it's always good to see people face to face. I love seeing people face to face. I love seeing you guys here today, right? If I were to talk to you on the phone, it's a little bit different because I can only hear your voice, but when I see you, I see the whole body language. I know how you guys, bless you, Grace, I know how you guys interact with each other. So it's very important that, find a weekend that you want to host. Don't do it by yourself. If you want, partner with somebody, right? Do it together, make it fun. This is your pop-up, right? And if you have music playing in the background, if you have mochi donuts, hit me up, right? I got you. But figure out something that you really want to take away and put it to life, okay? All right, so again, these aren't exhaustive. These are just some things that you guys can apply to your next steps. All right, so I want to share with you guys a quick, am I doing pretty good on time? Just making sure. Sure. Okay, thank you. Okay, so I want to share with you guys a case study or a scenario where when you take action, you'll be surprised what comes out of it. So I made contact with this lead off of Lofty on February 7th, and I learned that their timeline was.
Hear that? Lofty.
So yeah, Lofty. Not something that I really like, but anyways, it happened. So February 7th, and I learned that they were 8 months out.
Changes are on the horizon.
Yeah, changes on the horizon. So are we doing a follow boss? Okay. Yeah.
We're upgrading our tech stack.
Yeah. Okay, cool. What was I going to say? Okay, so I spoke with this client on the phone on February 7th, and I learned that they're 8 months out. It's a beautiful, they were like dating at the time, and they're going to get married. And so one of my clients, he texted me on March 28th, so basically about a month and a half later. Hey, Eric, also I was bored the other day, looked at the market, found this. We both agreed it was a place we would want to see after the wedding. Obviously, it won't be on the market, but wanted to send along for reference. Good to know. Thanks for sharing, Frank. We'll definitely keep this in mind. So I kind of had an idea now as to what he's looking for, him and his fiance at the time. And so this gave me a really good starting point because I did send him listings. He was on my drip campaign, and it was very helpful because I knew that his plan was to buy a home seriously, like after he got married in September. And then this happened. June 16, okay? Fast forward February, March, April, May, June, so about 4 months later. Hey Frank, happy Sunday. Hope you and Kelly are doing well. Super excited for your big day in 3 months. Anyways, I toured this home in Hercules yesterday and I thought of you both. That never happened, guys. I just made that up because I saw this home yo, this looks exactly identical, right? And they wouldn't even know if you lied, right? So let me know if you're free and let me know if you're interested in viewing this property in person, okay? And so what do you guys think they said? Yeah, they were, right? I was kind of surprised myself. So anyways, because I saw this property, I figured, you know what? I can either not text them and let them know that this property is available because I know their timeline is a little further out. But you know what? What the heck? Let's just try it. At least I get to see what the neighborhood's like, get a feel for what Hercules, because they're moving from San Francisco all the way to Hercules. So they're still relatively new and they're first-time home buyers. So I want to make sure that they can at least see what the city is about, okay? So they viewed the property on June 22nd. So 6 days after I sent that text, we toured the home during an open house on a Saturday. Offers were due on Monday. We ended up beating out 6 other offers, closed escrow in 12 days. Shout out to Chris. And they ended up getting their home before their actual timeline. And so I'm not sharing this with you just because I'm super happy for them. Oh yeah, for sure. But I want to let you know that, if I didn't send out this text, this would have not happened, right? Maybe I would have really listened to their 8-month timeline and just kind of wait until I follow up after 8 months. But it's important for us to keep following up even between the first time you made contact with them leading up to those 8 months, because you never know what can happen. People's timeline can change, right? If I had a student who came to class, Mister, I hate math, and they end up telling me they like math, I'm like, oh, that's so awesome, right? Because things can change, and you have to not have a fixed mindset, have a growth mindset. People really do adapt, and they'll be able to kind of lean onto your expertise because you're actually doing the best job, right? You're really keeping them in mind. And again, even though I didn't really tour the property, I'm glad that we got to see it together on that weekend. And believe it or not, they actually came back the same day offers were due just to make sure that this is the right home for them. And that's when I knew they were really serious. And so we ended up submitting, and then it was just a blessing to be able to help this couple, and now they were able to move into their new home before their wedding day. And
wasn't as smooth as he said.
Yeah.
He's saying actually.
Yeah.
He had a couple of counters.
Yes.
Oh, you know. Oh, yeah. Yeah. And yeah.
It was a good one. I was definitely there with him.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you ever want to go deep into the whole writing the offer process, we can always say that for another day. I think the whole goal out of this class is just to really learn to see what challenges do come in real estate and how do you think about those challenges. I think the most important thing is how do we reframe it into a different lens, because sometimes we look at these challenges, it's easy for us to give up, right? We just want to stop what we're doing. We want to sleep in. We just want to close out, not talk to people. And that's totally normal because we feel like we're so comfortable with where we're at. But I think what real estate, again, can teach all of us is to really know that, again, we're not alone, we're here for each other, like we got this, like this stuff right here, this is like the biggest lesson that I've learned so far in real estate is don't take it personal, okay?
I think the goal is to get to those challenges.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't get to that challenge. Like you got to get to that challenge of the calendar, the offers, and all like consistently, right? Or else you're never going to even get to the point where you have to deal with that having to flow.
Yeah.
So that's huge.
Thanks, Bill. Can I get Hannah? Hannah, can I have you read out the quote right underneath it?
The problem is not the problem. The problem is your attitude about the problem.
Perfect. Can I have you repeat that one more time, nice and loud?
The problem is not the problem. The problem is your attitude about the problem.
Perfect. So, attitude right here, you guys. Key word, okay? Raise your hand if you've ever gotten your offer accepted before. Anybody here? Cool. Keep your hands up if you guys have gotten your offer rejected before, okay? Keep your hands up if you guys have ever gotten your offer withdrawn. So basically when your client's backed out, okay? Raise your hand if your client has ever ghosted you. Ooh. Raise your hand if your client had ever cheated on you with another agent. Okay. Yeah, some of you guys haven't raised your hand. You guys are all lying. Okay. Hey, all of this right here, it's gonna happen. If you're new and you haven't like written an offer yet, like just expect it's gonna happen. And when I'm saying that because like I know the magic ball, like I can read into your life, it's gotta happen one way or the other. And you just need to really like be prepared for it because being prepared, it's like, it's gonna help you so much. Like for me, I didn't even know about this. I didn't even know about this and this, right? I knew about these two because I thought, oh, right, offers accepted or rejected, right? I thought it was like black and white. But once these three started, I'm like, what the F, yo, right? Like, I didn't even know that was possible. But I started to realize, we really need to have a spectrum of how we respond. And my goal this year was to really help 12 families. I've written a total of 23 offers. Out of those 23, 15 were accepted and 8 were rejected. Out of the 15, 6 were withdrawn. So if you guys do the math, what's left? 9, right? And so today, as of today, I've helped 9 families. I have 3 more to go. Obviously, it would be nice to go over above 12 families. I'm still far from where I want to be. Okay, even though I met with Daisy and she asked me, hey Eric, what's your goal for this year? 12 families sounds like a really nice number. Maybe hopefully I can get 1 deal per month. Long story short, I think it was July was my biggest month. And then August, September, I had 3 in escrow and they all fell out, you guys. And it was so sad. I could have been like crying, I could have been at home, but I knew in myself, like if I was just like upset about it, I wouldn't move on and get my 9th deal from there because I would have just been letting those stuff linger. And if you let those drown you down and tell you that, hey, you're not worthy, you're not enough, and why is this happening to me, why is that happening to me, it's really going to, same thing, it's going to prevent you from moving forward. And so what I've learned during those 3 escrows is like, hey, you know what, it's okay. It's going to be fine, it's going to happen for a reason. Life doesn't happen to me, it's happening for me. It's building my resilience, it's building my faith, it's building my character, and I know that eventually that next deal is going to come through. I just need to stay persistent. I need to show up even when I don't feel like it. And then thank God, I was able to close my 9th one yesterday. And so with that, I do know that even though I have 3 more to go, I do expect that offers will get rejected. Offers will get backed out, right? And I need to be ready for that. And so Bill always says it's a numbers game, right? You always need to do a lot more to increase your probability of making sure that you end up closing. Because I could tell my wife, hey, we got our offer accepted. She doesn't care about that anymore. She was like, tell me when your offer is closed, like escrow. That's when like the paycheck comes in, right? Because like to her, it doesn't mean anything anymore. And she knows that because I shared with her like about life in real estate, right? And so again, it's not done until it's officially closed. So what I've learned is that we have a choice in how we respond to every situation. You guys have a choice to be here. You guys have a choice to, think the way you guys are thinking. You guys have a choice to respond, with love, with gratitude. You have a choice if your client says something that you don't like. Do you want to say the same thing back, or are you going to go ahead and, give yourself some grace and give them grace too, right? So this right here, rejection is redirection, right? We have to change the way we think because if your offer gets rejected, that's okay. Something better out there is waiting for you. Okay, so I definitely encourage you guys to take a picture of this after I go over this. I think this really helps me a lot in real estate so far because I have the same mindset with teaching especially when my kids don't understand a topic or if they fail an exam, I always tell my students, hey, just because you failed this exam, so what? What are you going to do about it? Oh, you're going to go to office hours? Oh, you're finally going to sit in the front row, ask questions. We really need to take all these failures and really convert it into something that will give us the blueprint or the steps to actually get things done. And so anytime when your offer gets rejected, I would tell myself, hey, I'm grateful that we gave this home a chance, but I am confident that the right home is out there for you, right? And this is what I would also say to my clients. When your offer gets withdrawn, I'm glad we made it this far in escrow, but this must be a sign that this is not the right home for you, okay? And again, having 6 offers backed out, you get so used to it that I'm not saying you're numb to it, but you know how to respond better the next time, right? If you guys are in a relationship or in a marriage and you know that sometimes you get back into that same argument or same fight with your significant other, right? Hopefully by the second or third time, you can actually get over that hump a lot quicker than the first time, right? Because you've already dealt with it so many times that you already know that strategy, a quick way to all right, I know how to get over this. Hey, we've been here before. Let's go and take a step outside. Let's get some fresh air. Let's come back in. Let's go ahead and reconfigure, right? When your client ghosted you, I did the best I could, and I hope they're still alive. And then when your clients cheated on you with another agent, I'm not meant for everyone, and everyone is not meant for me, okay? Raise your hand if you feel like you're a people pleaser. Anybody in here? Be honest, it's okay. Yeah. I feel like real estate, it's easy to get into that mode too, because we want to serve, we want to please people, we want people to like us, right? We want people to know that we're going to give them the best service ever. I came back from Korea recently, and I had a client that I was working with, and he sent me a text. I wish I put it up here for you guys. And he ended up telling, hey, Erik, we decided to, I met with him actually before the BRBC even changed, and he ended up signing a BRBC with another agent. And so you can only imagine how we would default to feeling oh shoot, that sucks, right, internally. But I say, hey, no worries. Thank you so much for letting me know. Hey, I wish you the best. If you still need anything, let me know. I'm still here for you as a resource. Right? And so we still keep in touch via text, even though I know he has a BRBC with another agent, but things like that will happen. And I also think what could I have done better? Oh shoot, because I was traveling, maybe I should have followed up a lot sooner. Maybe I should have even told him I was traveling, things like that. So just because somebody ghosted you or cheated on you with another agent, it's always good to reflect and see what you could have done better. Because sometimes you might say, hey, you're not meant for me. Maybe it's also because you did something that you should have done, right? Maybe it's because you really should have followed up and talk to them and really plan your next showing with them. That way they know that you're committed to helping them, because maybe you have so many people in your pipeline, they get lost in the process, right? And so these are just some of the things that I think can definitely help you reframe the way you think. All right. We're almost done, you guys. All right, the last one as far as how to overcome adversity is to really learn from the best. To know the road ahead, ask those who are coming back. I love this quote right here is because I feel like the answers are out there. The blueprint is out there for us. It's just a matter of us wanting to go and actually make it happen, all right? So study those who are top producers. Ask to shout at them, pay attention closely, model, modify. I remember when Chelsea, she did a masterclass on how to write winning offers. I love that class because I was paying so close to I literally took screenshots of the pictures that she had, and I literally showed her too. I was like, hey, Chelsea, look what your masterclass has taught me. It gave me the confidence, the ability to make sure that every offer that I put out there, it's because of you that I'm able to feel that within myself. And so don't be afraid to reach out to those that are doing really well. I feel like I'm far from where I'm at. I don't consider myself as a top producer. I'm still learning. I'm still growing. I want to meet you where you're at. Right? I'm not here to brag or anything. I'm here to really just let you know that this stuff that we do, it is hard. It's gonna be tiring sometimes. It's gonna be exhausting, but don't give up. Have faith in your ability, because you really are where you're meant to be. And know that because of those that are doing really well in this industry, don't be afraid to reach out to them after this workshop. I literally, your next step should be hey, Chelsea, can I shadow you when you write an offer? Or, hey, Bill, when you have your next listing appointment, can I be there with you? Hey, Daisy, same thing. Can I be there with you when you're on the phone negotiating on your offer accepted or getting your offer to be accepted? Hey, Hannah, can you help me create this on social media so that way I can build my presence and feel a lot more comfortable, right? You have the whole, I think Hannah said something on her workshop too, is this team is like a buffet, right? You have everything that you need. It's just a matter of really taking what works for you and doing something with it. And that's something that I've learned a lot is to really just model after them and then modify, right? Make it my own. You guys are, again, you guys are unique, you guys are different. I want you guys to be the best authentic real estate agent that you can be and be the best at what you do too. Okay. All right. So how bad do I want it? I want it bad, and I'm gonna do whatever I can to find the answers. And I know that have you guys ever watched Taken before? Yeah, I will do whatever I can too, not only to help myself get those answers, but my goal is to also give back too. And I'm very grateful that, Bill and Daisy have given me the ability to mentor, my mentees, because I didn't think it was gonna happen that fast. I was like, maybe, hopefully next year. But I feel like you always learn best when you can teach it to somebody else, right? And when you can do that, it's the most, I don't know. I feel like when Jaden got his first deal, it's like, wow, it's not even about the deal. It's like, this guy just he's just 22, he's so young. I'm 33, I wish I did real estate when I was that young too. But the fact that he kept at it and he stayed the course and he focused on, making it happen for himself, it's so cool because now you get to plant seeds in other people and you get to see their growth and you feel like we're a part of it. So it feels like when they win, you win too. So when I see Hector winning and giving these amazing closing gifts to his clients, man, I'm like, dude, I gotta step up my game, but I feel like we're winning, right? So, we're all here together and we wanna make sure that we continue to root on for each other. So your homework is to take one or two things that you've learned in today's class and apply it, right? I think that's the hardest thing is to apply it, right? You guys, I can say all these things and I'm actually listening to myself too as I'm sharing with you guys because I have a lot of work to do still. Again, I'm always under construction. I feel like the best analogy that we can give ourselves is we're all fixer-uppers. I think we went to a Bible study where Silvano and Jordan, they were all talking about it like, whoa, you're right. We are fixer-uppers. We need a strong foundation, right? There's some cracks here and there. We need to make sure that we take care of ourselves, right? We got to take care of our mind, our body. We got to make sure that we start the day strong so that we can go out there and serve people in the field, okay? It's easier said than done, but we want to make sure that we do that every day and make it such a very strong and healthy routine because if we don't have that foundation, things will start to collapse, it will go downhill, things will look like a mess, and then we'll start getting back into our negative mindset, right? So really hopefully you guys were able to take one or two things. And yeah, let me know after this workshop too, what you've learned. I want to hear feedback. I always feel like, I'm growing, and if you were able to take one or two things, I'm so happy. 4 things to me, I always trying to figure out, should I say more? But you guys know I talk so much already. But the goal is really for you guys to really put it into action. And I'm very, again, thankful for you guys. Thank you so much for being here today. I love y'all, and I hope that you guys go out there and just kill it. So let's clap it up for yourselves. All right. Thank you, Pham. Appreciate y'all. And yeah, I guess we'll do a quick Q&A. I don't know if we still have time for that, but
I must say, I think that was one of the best masterclasses.
yeah. Thanks, you guys. Questions? Yeah.
Can you tell us, literally break it down, what your time blocking schedule was in terms of your follow-up? Did you set a day to come in here? Did you time block 4 hours just to do calls? What did you do?
Great question. So it's going to depend on every day because every day I do have some time where it's this is my open hour of whether it's for showing, for follow-ups. If I'm not here in the office, I'll make sure that I'm going to be out there showing homes. If I'm going to be here in the office, I'm going to make sure that I'm calling people or following up with clients. I want to make sure that, or creating a video for Instagram, right? I think there's so many different ways to keep yourself busy, but if you don't know what to do to keep yourself busy, be here at the office and then just ask each other. I think it's cool when, my client, or not my client, my mentee Jaden, he's here, someone's like, Erik, I don't even know what to do, right? And then when he's making his calls, stuff like that, I'm like, okay, what's next? All right, let's build your social media presence. Let's create your posts. I'll share with him my Canva designs, right? We all can lean onto each other. But to answer your question again, Hannah, in terms of time block, honestly, I still am, I'm very day by day, spontaneous in the sense of knowing that tomorrow I might have something planned, but I know it's gonna change because I might end up getting a call from Ojo and I need to show a client home. So there's that flexibility, but I really stick stay true to what I have, because if I don't have something, I'm gonna be here and I'm gonna figure out what I'm gonna need to do. And so, and I think that's like the beauty of real estate too, is because I feel like we can plan everything like smoothly, but you also have to be flexible, right? You have to be open to your schedule and knowing that like, hey, you might need to be on call and you might need to pick up this call and show home like within the next hour. And if you don't have anything, right, like just figure out what can you do to build your brand so that people are reminded of what you do. And so, yeah, that's definitely a work in progress in terms of time blocking. But yeah, I definitely stayed up till like 3 a.m. last night just to make sure that I get these slides down, because I know that there's so much that I want to share, but I wasn't able to compile it. But hopefully you guys were able to get some key takeaways. Yeah, thanks. Any other questions? Yeah, Sharon.
When you're in the midst of everything,
Yep.
like you put emphasis on being in control of your thoughts,
Right.
your emotions. How do you kind of target, it to a positive, thought like that? It's just kind of ingrained in you, I feel like, in a way.
I think for me, I always try to think like, it's not like, why, or like, you know how people always say like, what's wrong or what is wrong? I always think like, what can be right? And I think it does take time. It is a skill too that you have to kind of build over time. It doesn't happen in one night. Obviously, it goes back to my upbringing too. When your parents are separated and you've seen so much growing up, you've kind of like matured in a different way in terms of your mindset. And I think mindset's huge because it really teaches you a lot about what triggers you, what gets you thinking negatively, and also like how can you change that quick and revert to something positive. And for me, I always think about my mom. She was my first teacher, and that's the reason why I want to get into teaching. And if you come from an Asian household, being a teacher, it's like, what? Like, you can either be a doctor, a lawyer, or an engineer, right? And teaching was like not an option. And when I told her that I wanted to become a teacher, she was pretty upset. They immigrated here, they made so much sacrifice. My mom knew that the pay was not great, and I was just gonna waste my life away. But I did sit down at the dinner table one day, and I told her, hey, Mom, I know you don't want me to do this. If you want me to become a doctor, I know I can do it, but I don't enjoy it. I've interned before, engineering, not my thing, lawyer, not my thing. So what really inspired me to teach was because of my mom, right? And I think with that, being a teacher, you really have to do whatever you can to be positive for your students, because they're already coming in with so much baggage. And every day I walk into class like, hey, Mom, like, I'm doing this for you. And to this day, I don't regret. I think 8 years, like it went by pretty fast, but the same mindset goes into real estate. I would love to help my mom retire, go from a 2-story home to a 1-story home. I think that's ideally like my driving motor to really help her get to that point. And the positive, going back to the positive, it's really just, yeah, mom. Mom makes me happy. She makes me, I do everything for her, and also for my wife too, most part. She's like the MVP. Right? If it wasn't for my wife to support me with what I do, I wouldn't be where I am today. So, yeah.
That's a great answer.
Thank you. That was a long answer too, huh?
That's okay.
Yeah. Any other questions? Okay. Yeah. Well, if there's any questions that do come up after class, I would love to connect with you. I would love to talk to you. But yeah, I'm very grateful for you guys, and thank you so much again for being here. Like I said, I came in like, hey, I don't expect the full class, whatever, but the fact that you showed up, like, it really means a lot from the bottom of my heart. So a lot of people in this room today, I've looked up to like half of them. Jeremy, Chelsea, Hannah, Drew was like one of the first people like I shouted for like a listing appointment. David, I see you killing it back then. Like I remember I was sitting in your chairs and I would watch the top producers. I think it was like the end of the year, and I was there and I was like, wow, like these guys are doing amazing. Like, what's your secret? And with that, it really inspired me to just find my own path and my own way, and to be like, I'm up here, I'm like, I feel like I have imposter syndrome right now too. I'm like, what the heck did I do to get up here? But I appreciate Bill and Daisy's leadership to be able to provide us this platform to be able to just go out there, be ourselves, serve people, and make things happen. So I can't wait to see you guys up here for your next masterclass. So, yeah. All right, I think we're done, right?